Well, we've been warning you about the radical sexuality and gender ideology curriculum that's being pushed in schools by the Ministry of Education and by activist groups. And during the week, we received this particular document that's being taught in a classroom, talking about the 5 different types of sex: genital, digital, object, oral, and anal. Pretty offensive, but it's being taught, and it was in a classroom of 11 and 12-year-olds. Now, a lot of people thought surely this can't be true. Well, unfortunately it is, and today we speak to one of the mums whose children were part of that classroom. Well, we have one of the mums present from the school that's concerned with this furor about this highly objectionable note that was included as part of a class for 11 to 12-year-olds. Mum, welcome to McBLOG. You know, a lot of the feedback I got was, this can't be true. Surely this hasn't happened. That doesn't look like a legitimate note. What's your response?
Yeah, hey Bob. Yeah, I have seen on Facebook, because obviously the photo that was originally taken has blown up on social media.
Hmm.
And I've gone through and seen a few of those comments saying that this can't be true, this could be doctored, someone's made this up and sent this in. But I can confirm it is 100% true. It's my photo, and I took it of my daughter's handout that she brought home on Friday, the 12th of August. And I was horrified, to say the least. And she said to me, her first words were, "Mum, it's really weird, and I feel really weird about it, and I'm really disturbed." And she talked about the objects part of it
Mm.
specifically, saying that was really disturbing to her. And I was fuming. I actually had to calm myself down and tell her, I'm sorry, honey, I'm not angry at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm angry that this has happened to you.
Mm.
So yeah.
So we're talking about a 11 and 12-year-old class.
Yes, so this was a health class for intermediate ages, which
Mm.
are year 7 and year 8,
Mm.
and which are 11 and 12-year-olds. Yeah,
And was it an outside group or was it just by the teacher?
it was by the teacher of the school.
Right. And had you had any warning that this material was going to be covered?
No, so there was an email sent out on February about sexuality education, but it was very broad, very vague. There
Mm.
was no mention of the fact that they were going to go over this sort of graphic
Mm.
material. I had pulled my daughter out of this class as soon as I found out that they were doing it.
Mm.
So the fact that she came home with the material and it came into her hands has made me even more angry,
Mm.
because she never should have seen it in the first place. And then her friends who were in the class, one of them particularly said, "This makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't want it," and gave the handout back to the teacher.
So to clarify, your daughter had been pulled from those classes, but the
Yeah.
material was left in the class when she went back.
Yes.
Right.
So yeah, so she was
Mm.
pulled and put into the library,
Mm.
and then when she came back, it was
Mm.
on the desk that she walks past to go to her desk. So she walked past and picked
Right.
it up.
So your concern is for other children in the same class. Have you heard from other parents?
I have my daughter's friend, her mum, and has also pulled her daughter from the school.
Mm.
And I've heard from one other one,
Right.
and then I've seen a couple others on the school's Facebook page as well, who are very, very upset.
Yeah, and we've certainly been swamped with examples from other parents as well, from both other schools, and we've heard from other parents in your school. What has been the response to you expressing concerns to the school?
So first, I got an email from the principal, just apologising, and then when I expressed that I had decided to take my daughter from the school, they said they understood that decision but were deeply sorry, and that it wouldn't happen again. Hoped that she could come back at some stage if we felt ready. There was also an email sent out to all of that room's class teachers, parents, sorry.
Mm.
And but that email was pretty much the same. It was really, it felt like a way of sort of brushing it off. It was a tick the box apology, because with the email that came out for the parents, the handout wasn't in that email. I believe it should have been, so that the parents who didn't know could see what he was apologizing for. But it just said about that sexuality education was something good and the teacher had good intentions, but yes, it was age inappropriate, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and I've seen the letter from the principal, and it seems to basically say, look, we're sorry, but at the same time, we're following the curriculum. And I'm sure you're aware that the curriculum wants schools to actually go down this track. Maybe not quite as explicit, but certainly covering similar material. So what's your warning to parents?
My main warning is talk to your kids. You've got to talk to them. And we have a pretty open conversation with our daughter, but it's really important that you ask them every day and foster that communication relationship from a young age, so that they're prepared to talk to you when they're older. And just ask them, what is it? Well, hey, make it very conversational so they don't feel attacked. And then ask your school and ask for evidence. I would say ask what specifically are they teaching on sexuality education, because the big confusion is sex education and sexuality education, and they're two very different things. So make sure to ask your school what they intend to cover, and I would say ask for the material to be sent home to you first before it goes out to your kids, so then you can decide whether they should be in that class or not.
Yeah. Hey, Mum, thank you for your time. It's good to put a person to what's actually going on in our schools, because we really have been trying to warn families, and this has been, unfortunately, a perfect but disturbing example. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, the good news is that most schools are rejecting this radical material in the groups that come with it, and it's not compulsory for schools yet. But you'll know we haven't named the school. And that's been intentional, because it could be in your school, because it's part of the curriculum. And if you don't know what the curriculum says, read our fact sheet, and you can download the fact sheet from our website. Because unless you can absolutely guarantee that your school leadership is adopting a do no harm policy in this whole area, that they respect your role, that they regularly consult with you, that they'll show you the material in advance, and you can guarantee that groups like Family Planning and Rainbow Youth aren't being allowed access to the classroom to push this propaganda, then we'd recommend withdrawing your child. And as we're finding out, hoping for the best is just not worth the risk. So please check what's being taught at your school. Your kids need protecting.